Alright guys, well, today's Tuesday, and getting some little updates on the 66 Chevy here. Anyway, so I did get some parts in. I ended up getting my Davies Unified ignition in. Finally cut my Moroso plug wires. Got those installed, and it's looking pretty darn good. Really happy with how those turned out. I'm doing some mock-up right now. I've got the aluminum radiator sitting on there. I've been getting some hoses in, and I've been putting this Spectre Performance sleeving, and it's been looking really good. This is just stuff you slide over the hose. Really adds a lot of, really makes the engine look a lot nicer instead of just having a bunch of plain old hose there. It's kind of the cheaper way of doing it instead of having to go with the actual chrome braided hose. So this stuff looks just as good and adds a lot of nice touch to the motor. So, and anyway, to get my low car performance throttle cable mount, because I'm going to be going with a cable style, so I can use the low car pedal. This is just going to mount here, and then the cable will mount in here, and then since the firewall's right around here, it'll just be a short piece that goes in there. I'll show you guys what I got for that. Just shut this off. Anyway, let's see, where'd I put it? There it is. Okay. I went ahead and got this cable because it's also chrome braided, so that'll look real good. It'll match everything, because that's kind of the idea. Make sure everything matches well. Hey, there's the McCulloch. Still waiting to be sharpened. And then, of course, I'll be reusing this low car pedal that I had on the 66 before. As you can see, when I first did it, I used this black cable, but I would have reused it, but the cable itself was fraying pretty bad, so went ahead and just got another cable and it'll also look better. It'll match more. So anyway, well, those are the little updates. Getting closer. I did get the trans oil. I'm going with this for the Tremec trans oil. I'm going with this AC Delco Synchromesh transmission fluid. This is a GM transmission fluid. This is apparently the really good stuff to use. Guys were saying they were using the cheap stuff for break-in, but they said they would put this stuff in and the transmission would actually shift better. So I figured, well, let's go with the expensive stuff the entire way instead of, using cheap stuff for break-in. So break-in is kind of the critical point for all these. So, and they're recommending a 500-mile break-in on this trans. So we'll just run the expensive stuff, break it in for 500 miles, maybe do a few trans fluid changes throughout that time, and call it good. Because that stuff there is pretty darn expensive. It's like, I think it was almost $18 a quart for that fluid. So not exactly the most user-friendly stuff. And anyway, also I got my new gasket in from Clifford. And as you can see, it's more of a hard rubber gasket, and then I got these washers in. So these manifolds are set. They've been tightened down. They're good to go. Also got the carburetor tightened down. It's all good to go. Did modify my air cleaner in the bottom. I still got to find a stud that's big enough. Then I'll bolt that down. I still do need to paint in between here. As you can see, I did. But it turned out so bad. I did get most of it peeled off. I still got to take some alcohol and get the rest of this off. But anyway, just been doing mock-up and really pleased with how this is coming out. It's pretty much better than I ever imagined it would. Still debating on whether I should paint the starter or not. But we'll see. Anyway, if you guys have any ideas, let me know. I'm thinking of like just plain black or just leaving it the way it is. Anyway, yep, and then I got the holes drilled, of course, for this electric fan. I went with bolts here, and then I'm using Allen screws to mount that. So it looks awfully close right now because the radiator is actually leaning a little bit forward. As you can see, once I get the top mount on, it'll pull it back, and there will be plenty of clearance, and we'll be fine. So Alrighty, well that's about it. Go ahead and give you guys an update on the cab, I guess. I haven't really done anything on the cab because it's been too wet and cold, but I did set the cab on the frame like this, and I'm gonna start working on the floors here pretty soon. Got a lot of work to do. As you can see, we do have the bottom of the dash all painted up, and so anyway, so once we start getting back to work on the cab, start doing more videoing as usual. A lot of cleaning to do yet, but it's all part of the fun for sure. So I'm gonna probably start taking these doors apart soon, and we'll start working on it. Just waiting for decent weather. We haven't been having much of that lately. So anyway, well, that's it, y'all. 292 inline 6 is looking good. Really pleased with how it's turning out, and today is the 21st of March, and we should be firing this thing sometime in April. That is the plan. There's really not much more that I have to do to this engine. Basically, I just got to tighten down a few more things, get an exhaust on it, tighten all the fuel lines down, figure out a way to get a battery and some gauges hooked up to it, fill it full of water, put some oil in it, put some oil in the trans, and I'm going to run 94 ethanol free fuel in it for that, because I'm not going to be able to really drive it, so the fuel's going to be sitting for a while, and don't want any problems with those that carburetor. So alrighty guys, well, see ya.